Hello, everyone. My name is RP Davis. I am a DM's Guild creator and freelance game writer. And this video is how to do a DM's Guild product on the cheap and make it look really pretty. We're going to concentrate on Microsoft Word because most people have it and it's pretty powerful. You can do many, many great things and make a really spiffy looking product while using a piece of software that you probably already have. First things first is to get yourself a nice template. I mean, if you're really good at Word already, you don't need this video. You can go ahead and crank out whatever you like. But what's going to help is to get a nice template that makes the text look like the 5th edition products, because people want to see that in our guild stuff. They want to see the headers with a little colored bar under it and all that sort of thing. The one that I've been using most often, and I've been using it since it's come out, really, in 2017, is this one, the Advanced DM's Guild Adventure Template for Microsoft Word by Stefan Rubner. It's really, really awesome because it has all the fonts you need. It's got a page background. It's all laid out. All you have to do is plug your own text in. I'll show you around this template when we get to Word. I want to give you what you need to go to the guild and get, most of which are, I think they're all pay what you want or free. So score. You will have to either get some fonts to make this work. There are links to Font Squirrel down here. It comes with a background that looks pseudo 5e already, but you can go and get other backgrounds, as we'll get to. But I don't particularly, I mean, these fonts are nice. They're okay, they'll do. You can go and get other fonts, though, which we'll get to in a second, because you can actually get really good approximations of the core 5e fonts, because really, the real 5e fonts are super, super spendy, and a couple of them are exclusively licensed. But there are people out there making copies and putting them up for free and releasing them under the Creative Commons license, so you can use them in your products. So this is your main template. That's what we're going to be jiggering with most. You can get other backgrounds and other page cover things to deal with if you want, like this one here is a cover template in Microsoft Word. If you're a member of the Creators Circle on Facebook, Matt Gravelin is a member there, and he's made this. He's made them for Microsoft Word and for Photoshop, as well as a couple of other things. I think I could be wrong, but anyway, this you can plug it into a Microsoft Word file and crank out a good-looking cover with all of the fonts and stuff right there. It's really easy. I use Photoshop, and I've never been able to make this one work exactly like I want it to, so I use Photoshop. Sorry, that's not the most helpful thing in the world. And you don't have to use the background that comes bundled with this, too. You can get all kinds of page backgrounds on DriveThruRPG or on the Guild. There's cheap stuff like this will give you a really cool page background and cover that you can manipulate here. This, you put your cover text on the front of it and use the lighter 10 one for your interior page. That'll work just fine for you. As you can see, I've already got this one. Got all these things. But you can get, I'm going to go into my super secret back end thing here. You can plug in, oh heck, you can go to DriveThruRPG and get something like this, which is from Publisher's Choice. Yes, it's going to cost you. It's $6, whoop-de-ding. But it gives you this really freaking pretty page backgrounds. Getting these to line up with your margins in Word is more difficult than it is in InDesign. These are designed for InDesign, as you can see with the side-by-side layout, which Word won't do. But you can get some really spiffing stuff by going and buying a page background like this. There's also bunches of stuff that's free on the internet. Royalty-free stuff is all over the place. I mean, you can just plug royalty-free. Oh, what the hell? Let's do it. Royalty-free page background. Looky there. And go to images. And all kinds of stuff pop up. Now, of course, you don't want something that's dumb like that. But you can get things that are like old vintage yellow paper that will look really, really nice. I think that's a Shutterstock image, but look at that. You're doing something that's like Oriental Adventures that's the book, the old book, not what I'm trying to be racist or anything. Nope, you don't want that. But it's stuff that you can get stuff that's really, really appropriate to D&D stuff like that. We can get all kinds of things. That's got coffee rings on it, for crying out loud. How cool is that? Anyway, you can go down a rabbit hole with backgrounds. Let's go switch over to Word so I can show you exactly where you're going to be plugging this stuff in. Okay, now we're at the Word template. I can show you what you get in the Word template that I recommended to you. On the title page, you get all of this text. It lays out very nicely. Title, subtitle, everything you can change, or you need to change, is highlighted in yellow in this, which is a great reminder. Title, subtitle, intro. I don't like this line. I always change it. A disclaimer, which is pretty awesome. It's always a great thing to change. He even reminds you to change your copyright notice down in here in the legal text. This you're going to have to change. This is not the current legal text according to the FAQ. So go into the FAQ, the creator FAQ on the guild, grab the current legal text and plug it in there. It's a self-populating table of contents. I say self-populating, you can screw it up and then you've got to go back in and do it by hand. But it should, if you do everything right, automatically update itself with what you call things on the following pages. Down here in the footer, you've got attribution written by title subtitle. It's also highlighted in yellow, so you can go ahead and change it. An automatically generated page number, which is handy. Chapter headings, lorem ipsum, heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. These are important for things like main section, subsection. Spells and magic items use heading 3. Check the style guide on the guild to see exactly where you want to use what heading. I love these text boxes. They figure themselves out. Just automatically work. You may have to jigger the size, but rather than messing with a stack of different images like you have to do in InDesign to make it work, these just automatically work. There are different fonts in the header section that you can command the text box, and this is what's important. We'll get there in a second. Change things up. Read aloud text or sidebars. I like to use these for read aloud text, or you can actually use a different style up here in the style box. There is a box for a stat block that works in exactly the same way as the read aloud or sidebar text boxes. Really easy to use. There is a table that's pretty easy to use, but for some stupid reason it doesn't like to highlight all the text, so you have to go in and do it all yourself. But it sets it up so that you've got alternating lines of gray and lighter gray, and everything is easy to do. Down here, more lorem ipsum, another chapter, another sidebar if you want to put something in here, and that's it. So now we have to get into how to change this stuff to make it more yours. And it's pretty easy. I was talking about covers before. You can make this page, this title page, into something separate because Word does something pretty cool. When you change the background, you can see this page background has that cool line across it that's like the Dungeon Master's Guide. All pages have that. Okay? You can change that and have it change on every other page by changing the one on page 2 in this template. So double click up here. Now you've got the header active. You can move this around, and we don't like this page background. Fine. Delete. There it goes. Bye-bye. Go up here to insert. Go into pictures. You're not going to be able to see what I'm doing here because you just can't. It's the way OBS works. At least I think that's the way it works. So we're going to go find a page background that we would like to use. We'll say this one. This is from the Book of Kells. Just, it's nice. See how it repeats on all following pages? Now you're wondering, it's covering up all the text. What the hell do I do? Well, first you go over here to this little box that pops up. Kick that. Layout options. See that? Behind text. Bang. There's your text. Fixed position on page. Bang. We put it up there. We stretch it out. This one isn't exactly 8.5 by 11, so we go over here. It doesn't really matter. We don't have to constrain the proportions. Look at there. Isn't that nice? And it repeats all the way down. We want that to stick. Header and footer tools. Close header and footer. Done. Now we've got it on every single page. Pretty awesome, huh? What's cool about it is it leaves you free to fiddle with this heading page, this title page, to make a cover. Now that means you're going to have to move a lot of this stuff around, and it's a pain in the ass. So whenever I do this, I print the pages behind it. Or I change the background of this after I've filled all this out. It's not hard. Now, I don't like, oops, we don't need that. I don't like, idiot, you can't do that. You have to go into the header and a footer. I don't like this written by author, title, subtitle. I like just the page number. It's up to you whether you do that or not. I'm not going to yell at you one way or the other. That's your choice. Totally your choice. Now, let's talk about pictures, because a lot of, we're going to let's reduce the view here so we can actually see. Zoom out 75%. Yeah, there we go. That makes it easier to lay things out. One of the things that you're going to want to do is add images to this, and I don't blame you if you do. Let's make a space here for us to put an image down here in the bottom. Now, these layout options allow us to do things like wrap the text and fix the position on page. We're going to want to do that because we want this to go over here, and we don't. Ooh, this is the pain in the ass between Word and InDesign. Okay, now we want to put a picture over here. Easy. Insert pictures. Again, you're probably not going to be able to see this because it doesn't like to do that, but we want to drop a picture in. There are a couple of things that you want to do with your pictures. First, you want to make sure there's no background. This is from one of the free Wizards art packs, and there are bunches of them. Just go through and grab them. They're free. Get them. They will give you so much cool art that you can use in your products. The trouble is they're gonna almost always have some kind of background behind them because they're just scanned in out of existing Wizards books. So you're gonna want to use GIMP, Photoshop if you've got it. There are websites that you can drop an image in and take the background out, save it as a PNG, as high a resolution as your machine can stand, and that will give you the something around which text can wrap easily. Speaking of text wrapping, we're going to want to go to these layout options. We're going to bring it in tight, and we're going to fix the position on the page. Now that does a bunch of things. Check it out. When it just sprayed itself over to this place, the text wrapped around it. And as we move it about, the text continues to wrap around it, as do the text boxes. But you can see here, you can park it down in this corner, give yourself a nice little page filler, fills all this dead space down here with a gladiator, and leaves everything else alone. Pushes other stuff out of the way if it needs to. The thing about Word is that you're going to have to go and tweak things, but it's not so hard to do that you really need to go and worry about all of, it's not as intricate a thing to use as InDesign. It's not as powerful as a layout tool as InDesign. It's easy to drive yourself nuts when it screws up, but usually the reason it's driving you nuts is you've got one of these boxes is set to text doesn't wrap, and its position isn't fixed. It wants to move around. And you see what I mean? Everything changes once you permanently fix this stuff. So there we go. Move this back where it was, and everything drives you crazy for a little while until you get it all figured out. But hey, it's cheap, right? That's what we're after. Almost every Windows machine is going to come with Word on it, so you might as well use it. And from there, once you get everything written, laid out nicely, it's a matter of making a PDF. Speaking of laying out nicely, let's talk about styles. This template comes with a crap ton of styles preset for everything you need. Like heading 1 is a chapter heading. Heading 2 is bold in a small caps. Heading 3 gives you that classic 5e thing with a line, small caps with a line across it. Smaller than heading 2, but larger than heading 4. All these tools are going to be up here for you. Title and subtitle are up on the title page, but you've got a bunch of different things you can use here. That's normal text. See? Just regular old normal. Info box is going to be normal too. Stat box has its own sort of thing, and it'll preview it as you mouse over. So you look, my cursor is in this paragraph right here, right? If I mouse over, I click it, or just mouse over it, it changes to show me what it would look like if I was to change the font. Gives you a preview. Not bad at all. And the cool thing about it is if you want to change the font, say you don't like your main font. This is what? Merriweather. Right? Yeah, I just did it because it's normal for me. Mouse over the style box. Doesn't matter if you have it in this, because you don't have to. I like to keep mine open like this. It's all here. You can drop it down and go find this stuff. But if you click right here, that pops up a separate style box that lets you fiddle with things. Mouse over it, you'll see what the font is, what size it is. Say you don't like, that's Merriweather. That's one of the fonts you have to get from Font Squirrel when you use this template, if you want to use that template as it exists. So you don't like it. Right click. Modify. Go and pick one of the fonts you've got installed. Let's say you want to go all first edition. Futura, let's increase the size a little bit. Everything automatically changes. See that? All of your stuff that used to be Merriweather changes to Futura. Brilliant, isn't it? You can do the same thing. Let's go back and try something else. Let's try, I don't know, Caslin Pro. That's a beautiful font. That's going to change everything because it's a bit larger and Kern's different. Kerning is a special. Don't worry about it. It's kerning. Or I'm just playing now. Let's find something else that works nice. Garamond is very popular, but no, I'm not going to use Comic Sans. I can hear you screaming it now. Book Antiqua is very nice. Let's go to Book Antiqua. So this is it's a nice serif font. We like serif fonts for our 5e stuff. That is pretty much how it works. I can also show you what the because I've got them loaded in here. No Desto caps condensed is that D&D title font that 5e likes, and it's Modesto that starts with an M, or Mike in the official real one, but in the fakey font is No Desto, starts with an N, or Nancy, and you can get the same thing here someplace. Or maybe I lost it. Crap. Anyhow. Nah, it's end data already. We don't need that. Anyway, you got it all right at your fingertips. Right click, modify, change the style rather than going through and changing each paragraph. So much easier than going through and changing each paragraph. So much easier. And if you need more tables, you can always go back here to the table, just click it and highlight the whole blessed thing, which I can't seem to do. Control C or right click, copy. And if you've got everything set right, which I didn't, wrap tight, fix position. Now we can copy it and put it, I don't know, put it over here. And it just works. You can fill it out again, call it whatever you want, and you're done. I'm telling you guys, it couldn't get much easier. And it's, if you've got Word on your machine, you're mad if you go to, I mean, in my opinion, unless you're already used to programming web pages, you're mad if you go to some place like, you know, Home Brewery or GM Binder. I mean, if you already do that, I'm not going to yuck your yum. But you get so much more control, even with Word, on your layout if you just do it like this. Get a good template and you're done. And you know, and all of this is what, a couple of bucks? It's not expensive at all, because it's pay what you want, pay what it's worth, pay what you want, and go. Now, to reiterate, all these little box things, you want to click it. You want to click on the little box to the side. You want to select tight text wrapping, fix position on page. All of these little elements you want to have that work. Same thing with images, like our gladiator dude here. Highlight it, click the little box, tight wrapping, fix position on page, boom. Whether the text boxes for the stat blocks, same thing, tight, fix position on page, boom. These are very, 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 very important, because that means no matter what you do with the text around it, it should stay where you put it. Should, as we discovered earlier, you could see it bouncing around. Okay guys, there was a thing I forgot to tell you. I told you about tight wrapping, right? You click the image, you right click, you get this box, tight wrapping, fix position on page, right? Sometimes the wrapping doesn't go where you want it to go. Like you need it to, like when you start to increase the size of a picture, wrapping goes all screwy, right? So what you can do is right click on the image itself, and it brings up a menu, then there'll be a menu called Wrap Text, right? Go down there, or just hit W, Wrap Text, and then mouse over, Edit Wrap Points. That brings up all these little things. So right click, Wrap Text, Edit Wrap Points. Brings up all these little points that you can manipulate and maneuver to tell the text where to go, right? So if you don't mind that, if you want it in closer, or even, you know, overlapping the image at some point, you can make it do that simply by manipulating these little points to tell the text how much buffer to give around the image. This can also help if you've got weird looking, like what they call widows and orphans, where there's one word that's hanging out at the end of a paragraph, and you don't, that looks dumb, so you don't want to do that. You want to have, like here, this over here, that's an orphan. You don't want that. So you want to jigger things. If your image causes it, you can jigger the wrap points to get rid of that, or to move things around, make it look more pleasant in a flow around your image. That's all I wanted to tell you. So again, I've been RP Davis. You can get me at bob@r-p-davis.com. And also leave me messages on Patreon or this YouTube video when it goes live, or find me on Facebook. I run the DM's Guild Creators Circle, which is a private group. You can search it up and apply to join. You can find me on Twitter at WP2XX. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Thanks very much. We'll talk to you again soon.